Dearest, gentle listeners, you were listening to the Ladies Bridgerton, the talk of the town. We are your effervescent hosts, who are a little less effervescent today. Your neighborhood-friendly Kiwi, Tash from Middle Earth, New Zealand.
And Patty, Regency romance enthusiast, currently writing her strong, confident, intelligent, dependable.
Dependable.
What was the fifth one, damn it? Hold on. Strong, independent, confident, intelligent, dependable. That's all of them, right?
It was.
Yes.
It was all of them.
Era.
This is like Taylor Swift and her errors at the moment, like going through all the different errors and all the Easter eggs. Okay, settle down onto your favorite settee as we dive into the lives of the elite and illustrious ladies, lords, and royalty of the town. This Bridgerton podcast is two friends talking romance, symbolism, Easter eggs, and drum roll, after so long of not recording, deep diving into the connections of our favorite characters. We cover both book, TV series, and notable social media, and therefore will contain spoilers.
Okay, so let's do some news. What's your news?
My news of the day is I have officially moved into my new, not estate, but lovely, lovely property. And I was saying to my cousin the other day that it doesn't feel real yet because this is a grown-up's house. And I don't feel like a grown-up still. This is the house that you buy when you're 45, 50 years old, the one that, you know, your kids are going to grow old in. Well, not old, but, you know, like high school sort of thing. Like this is the forever home. And I didn't think that we would be able to afford something this beautiful in this sort of schooling zone in this area for another 20 years. Like it just felt like a crazy dream. And so every day I walk around the house and I want to cry because it feels unreal that something so beautiful is now mine. And I sit at my dinner table and I get to watch the sunset and it's so beautiful. And then last night,
really
my son...
is. You should post that in the group because it is.
I feel emotional about it because last night my son was so sweet. He was being a little bit cheeky at dinner time and he decided to turn off all the lights in the house. And then he runs into the room, like waiting for us to respond in the dining room. And our dining room looks out over a huge window that looks out over the city. And he goes, "Wow, I can see the whole world from up here." And I was like, that is so cute. And I felt like busting out singing, "I can show you the world."
No, I instantly went Lion King. Simba, we rule over everything the light touches.
It's a bit like that. And everything shaded as there as we don't go. But no, I'm blown away that this is my house and I just feel so excited. And then this week I will be signing up for Japanese exchange students, which I am really excited about because it's something that I've wanted to do basically forever. My granddad used to host exchange students, and last year when my husband and I got over to visit Japan, we got to visit one of my granddad's original Japanese students and taken back the photo album that he had left for my granddad. My granddad passed away a month before, and I got to take him back the photo album that he had of his travels in New Zealand 40 years ago. And he got to show his whole family his travels around New Zealand. And it was a really special thing to share with someone, like different cultures and experiences. And I want to have that for my, you know, I want Ezra to grow up one day and go visit the students that we hosted when he was little.
That's a great
And also it's a way for me to be able to afford this house. But mostly I just like being a mum to all.
Well, you manifest the things that help you get what you want, your abundance. You are in your lucky girl era.
I do. I feel beyond blessed right now. I have amazing family. I have amazing friends. Thank you, Patty, who support me. We have not recorded in, I think, 3 weeks now. 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It feels like forever.
2. We did the last,
Patty,
wait, no, we recorded YouTube last week. We did not record pod.
No. So it feels like forever.
Yeah, it's been forever.
And I miss it so much. Like it feels like a piece of me is missing when I don't do it.
Let me tell you, she kicked her son out of house today to go to kindy.
He cried the entire way to kindy.
Yeah.
And
You're
he cried the entire way.
You're going to kindy. I'm recording today.
Oh, yeah. And I said to him, this is Auntie Patty's time. And he cried the whole way into kindy. And he's never done that, but he was just tired. He was just
he was
tired.
tired.
And
I have a gift for you.
The whole way he cried in and he said, I don't want to leave Mummy's new house. I want to stay at Mummy's house. And I said, darling, it's still going to be our house when we get home. I want to play at Mummy's new house.
Is this the first time he's left since y'all moved in?
Apart from to go to Bunnings, but Bunnings is his happy place, so that's different.
But you guys were together.
Yes.
You were leaving him at Kindy.
Yes, this is the first time I've left him since moving in here.
And I would say, like, with neurodivergent kids, they always have rejection sensitivity. Yeah. And you were able to walk away from that house he felt comfortable in. Like, he probably is going through a major transition. Mm-hmm. Like, oh my gosh, is mom dropping me off and deciding to change me out too? Like, I thought of things like that at 4 years old. I distinctly remember it.
And that's the thing.
Look at your phone. I sent you a present.
I just saw it. It's so beautiful. And I actually become aware of that. Like I know the things that you remember from your ages, and I remember the things that and so like when I'm in my feels, I'm like, okay, like I don't want him to remember me being at my worst if I'm stressed out, touched out, you know, whatever. And so I literally carried him into Kindy. After moving house for 2 weeks, my back is done skis, and I carried him all the way into Kindy, and I stood in Kindy with him for 10 minutes, rocking him while
You're probably going to get the most amazing greeting today when you go and pick him up, because part of him is probably like, she's changing me out for another kid. If she can just get another house, she can get another kid.
The teacher, she went into the back room and said, oh, Ezra, I got out the puzzles just for you. And it's like, for me? For me? And she goes, what puzzle would you like to choose? This one. And I was like, all right, bye, darling. Bye, mummy. She knows the way to his heart. It's a good puzzle.
Okay, so my news, one.
And it's so exciting.
We have a few exciting things. One, we had a long form video that officially hit 400 views. We've been hovering around 100 views, mostly for our long forms, because I mean, our podcasts are super long. And long form, I've been trying to find the sweet spot of time to get people to want to watch them. But we had one hit 400. It just kept going, and it was so amazing to me.
What boss bitches?
And we have hit 1,000 watch hours. We're actually very close to 1,100 right now. And we should today hit 100,000 views. So mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you, everyone who tunes in on YouTube. We are so grateful that literally I'm working every day of my life right now.
Yes.
On everything. So to see actual fruits of my labor is amazing. Like I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed. So that's the first thing. Second thing is I don't want to think about a week from today, because then it'll be over. So
Patty's going to be meeting Luke.
Manifest. Oh, but I've seen 2 TikToks now, 2 different days in a row, where he's unable to come out and see people after the matinee because they're having to make changes for the night performance because they're in previews. So changes are still being made. So everybody who is seeing the show you're seeing is different than the show somebody sees after you, because as blocking happens and different things happen, they decide that's kind of not working for me. I'm not liking that. It doesn't look right from the audience, because they'll have somebody sitting in different parts of the audience and seeing how it looks. And then they do notes and they make changes. And then it becomes officially structured in how it's going to be by opening night. So on opening night forward, I mean, it's live theater, so different things can make it change, right? Somebody trips and falls, whatever. But the structure of the show, the lighting, the blocking, everything is set by opening night. So that's why I'm so excited too, because I've never been to a preview. I'm so excited to get to see a show that early, but he's not able to come out and take pictures and really meet the fans. He's like peeking his head out the door just to be nice. And that is very kind of you, Luke. You didn't even have to do that. You didn't want to leave people high and dry, but we're seeing a matinee, so I'm kind of nervous, but I am manifesting. Like I hope.
And the fact that he basically said to Ainsley Broom and the girls with him, like, oh, I recognize some of you, like that he actively knows the people who are in the Bridgerton,
Well, and here's what's interesting to me, because there's a TikToker who talks about the PR behind things. And like, I can't say who this person is because it's faceless and they use an AI voice, and they're basically saying some things are just PR. And they think the show's struggling because the show is already doing buy one ticket, get one 50% off during previews. But I'm the one who purchased our tickets. And so they're sitting in my ticket purchasing account because I'm not naming names app that I used. And I'm already getting emails. Are you on? Do you want to sell your tickets? We'll help you sell them easily. So obviously there are people trying to go.
Yeah.
Or because we have front row, they're trying to get those front row seats back for whatever reason. But I ain't selling. I not selling. I think Kay and Ann would agree. So
now,
by the time everybody hears this, I will have seen Luke Nuke.
And maybe touched him just a little bit.
Maybe just a little bit.
Maybe just a little bit.
I just want to speak and have him know, like, him hear my voice and go, that's like my biggest hype girl on the internets.
You have to tell him that if you talk to him, that we have an episode called Duck Duck Luke. Just in honor of him.
I was like, if I get a chance to talk at all, I want to say, please check out the Ladies Bridgerton. And please, if you listen to no podcast of ours but one, please listen to Duck Duck Luke, because it is a love letter to you, and not in a weird fangirl way, in your craft,
and an appreciation of your craft.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Please just listen to that one.
Speaking of our favorite snack being Luke Newton, it is time for Pod Snacks, Pod Snackety Snacks, Pod Snacks.
Pod Snacks, Pod Snackety Snacks. I was going to do the DuckTales one this week.
Pod snacks. Sorry, I forgot about that. I just lent into
but you came in throwing the Imperial March at me, so
well, I mean, it is fine. It is fitting because it is time to fight. Get on your boxing gloves, ladies and gentlemen. Today it is time to fight.
Colin comes in strutting like Vader, using the Force on Portia.
Force choke.
Oh, and some Bridgerton news I want to throw out there.
Yes,
they are officially editing the last episode.
I have
seen that. And also, Ollie Higginson is rehearsing a play in England. He's about to be in a play.
For those who don't know, Ollie Higginson is Footman John.
And I have seen, there is another podcast that started in February that feels, different scene, same vibe. Two friends discussing Bridgerton. And they were talking, interestingly, about the love triangle being an upstairs downstairs love triangle, but they didn't. And the reason I'm
the romance girlies who do like everything romance.
Yeah, but they just started in February, so they're relatively new.
But I think that they don't just do Bridgerton; they do all romance genre.
And I think that they chose not to be pigeonholed. Like you and I were so excited when we started. I think if we would have like given it a month, but our neurospicy selves were like, right now. Yeah. But it's okay. We will find a way to talk about Bridgerton.
I think that you and I, the way that our brains work, we needed one thing to focus on. Otherwise, it'd be like ping, 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 ping.
And I'm sure we'll find something else. We just may have to do a different title at that point when Bridgerton is done. I mean, and they're doing every 2 years. We're going to be doing this for a while.
Yes.
So another thing I saw is that the carriage scene got Scene of the Year. That might have been a repeat, but it was from the Edinburgh something or other. I just saw it in one of the Bridgerton groups, and I can't remember if, because there's bots that do regurgitate old stuff. So.
And we also had a really funny quote from Shonda Rhimes saying that Bridgerton is not a romance, but a workplace drama. And then Julia Quinn reposted it saying, can't it be both?
Workplace drama.
I was like, well, I mean, next season it will be.
Yeah. Oh, and also Taylor Swift has a new album. So now there's speculation about what is the Taylor Swift song going to be. That's all. And now we can pod snack. For me today, I'm not naming names, but they are hint of lime tortilla chips and their companion queso. And I have my favorite. If you want to get me a sweet snack and I'm not feeling chocolate, rare, but it happened. I love strawberry shortcake rolls.
What are strawberry shortcake rolls?
Think ho-ho, but
No,
strawberry.
no, we don't have ho-hos. Oh, okay. Those aren't those like Twinkies, but like kind of
No,
rolled.
it's not. No, Twinkie is a sponge cake, which I don't like. This is like kind of like if you think of making a pumpkin roll,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of cake, but it's strawberry and cream filling. And then it's dipped in like a glaze that's on the bottom, powdered sugar. I mean, it's sugar glaze, but it's pre-packaged. It's made by a company that does ho-hos and whatnot. But it is a strawberry one. And I love it so much. When my son turned 21, my favorite bakery here in it's out in Brunswick called Great Scott's Bakery. If you're ever in the Brunswick area, go see them and get their brisket rolls on Sunday because they're fantastic. But he will make a ho-ho cake. And there was one in the case. And I asked him, could he make one that had peanut butter, like it would be a Reese's ho-ho cake? Ugh. And he said yes. So for my son's birthday, it was delicious. For my son's birthday, we had a Reese ho-ho cake and a strawberry shortcake roll cake. I had to send him a picture of a strawberry shortcake roll, though. He didn't know.
I love how we said that we were going to make this like a 45-minute episode today because I've been moving house, so I am burnt out, tired, exhausted. Patty is fighting a migraine today, and we are officially 20 minutes into this podcast before even starting.
Our intro and pod snacks and news is always 20 minutes. I count the hour after that. Just so you know.
My pod snacks for the day is a Japanese snack called oishi. Well, that's the brand, I think. And oishi means tasty in Japanese. And they're called potato fries. And they taste exactly like, well, the flavor at least, like to the dot of a barbecue flavored Pringles, except they're more like almost like the baked pea, the baked snap peas that you can get now, like the baked veggie sticks, and they're kind of like fluffy, crunchy veggie straws. That texture, but barbecue Pringle flavor. Thank you, Costco. Which is not Costco. No, we wouldn't. I wouldn't ever rep them.
Patty made.
No, no. In New Zealand, Costco is a Asian supermarket, and they have wonderful delights. I went there before our road trip, and I never ended up eating any of my road trip snacks for some reason, and now I get to delight in them during pod snack.
Okay, so it's official, and I can now explain my neurodivergent sensory dopamine love of why I call this my rock bottom in carbon takery. When you get to the bottom of the bag of the hint of lime chips,
that's the
tap the bag, which I just did to make like there's not that many big chips left. And you make them smaller, not super small, but small enough. And you put them in the rest of your cheese and you stir it up. And now I have hint of lime cheesy chip soup or cereal, I like to call it. And that is now my pod snack. And it's fantastic. So, intro time. As a book fan of the series, one of my favorite scenes of all time is Portia being knocked down a peg for treating her daughter like she was invisible. I knew this needed to get its homage in the series, and season 3 did not disappoint. Although I dearly missed the hilarity of the moment in the book, which seemed like a mix of a comedy of errors and farce, the show put on full display Colin showing Portia just what a man ought to be and winning in a battle of word and wit, all while Penelope gaped from the sidelines. And because this is the scene we miss her most, rip Felicity.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Felicity.
She could have been excellent, but I mean, I still hold out hope that she could be a cousin in Hyacinth's season, like a brought-in cousin, like Marina. Okay, now I do believe we must make haste into today's episode. And I am so excited because we left off talking about Bridgerton Bros, and what an episode to leave off at. For those who have not seen, I'll probably make a post about this on the Bridgerton page as well, but we had one complaint on one of our podcast episodes stating that the episode titles were really confusing. And so I went through and I have now made them a little bit more succinct. So if the episode starts with S3 E5, that's season 3, episode 5, just so that you can see the whole thing. And then I do try to put, seeing as we're now down to basically just focusing on one major scene per episode, I will put the engagement announcement, the battle with Portia, the mirror. Like I will put like the major thing kind of as a description in the title. But if it does not start, if the episode title does not start with season 3, episode 5, season 3, episode 6, or whatever, it means it is not an episode analysis, but a kind of
Funsies.
random
Yeah.
character analysis, relationship analysis rather than an episode. So that's why those episodes are named differently, just because we haven't ever really talked about the way that they're named. So I'm not sure if that would make more sense for people now. So if it doesn't start with the season 3 episode number, it means it's not a episode analysis. I just thought I'd put that little tidbit in.
We definitely want feedback because we want to
Yes,
keep
please.
doing this as long as possible. And we know our limitations. I mean, come on. So yeah, any feedback. I mean, I'll just say this, like I've said this to Smaug in the past, and I know I've already said his name in the last pod, but he will forever be Smaug. Like I want you to give me feedback, give me constructive feedback about what I can improve, because I'm because he's working on the affirmations channel with me, but it can't be all negative because I'll feel like it's criticism, so you have to throw in something good.
Yes.
Like you got to do.
And that's what I love. She said, I love this. She said, I love this podcast, but the episode title is confusing. I'm like, thank you. That I can take. You gave me that you love it, but you just need something from me. So I'm like, amazing. I can work on that. I will go into it right now, because the second I forget about, if I don't do it right then, I'm going to forget.
Yeah. I had an old training manager at a job I had who called it the rub and slap. The rub is the nice thing.
Yes.
The slap is the criticism.
The compliment sandwich.
Yeah. You put the criticism in the middle. It's in the middle. Bit of cream.
Yeah. Okay. So where we left off was the Bridgerton Bros discussing, sorry, Gregory, the Bridgerton Bros discussing Colin's speedy engagement to Penelope. And what I wanted to touch base on with this episode was kind of going back and discussing what led to him going to Penelope's house. So, Patty, do you want to take us right as you take a big bite? Sorry. I'll take this part and you can join in. So the scene kind of where we left off was Anthony questioning Colin's motives. And I think it was in part due to, everything, how it had gone down with Marina. And I think it was just a little bit of making sure he'd done things for and I think it was making sure he'd done things for the right reasons this time. No matter what he said with Marina last time, I believe myself in love, or love is the reason, whatever else.
Well, and Anthony, I think part of it too is because he found Kate, and because he was not emoting, because he was not in touch with his feelings.
Yes.
He almost lost Kate. And he's been the proponent, like I just listened to that pod today for quality and assurance purposes. And hearing where we're talking about, he was the main antagonist that tried to get Colin to man up, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Feelings are feminine. Mm-hmm. You want to be less feely. You want to be less sensitive. You need to be, the only way you're going to survive in this world is to toughen up, feel less, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And he regrets that. I think he's seeing what he's done with his relationships. We saw that a little bit at the end of season 2, as he's coming to grips with, he might have lost the love of his life. He has very strained relationships with his family. And we saw that with Gregory in the in the study. So I think he's realized he's done it with everyone, and it's hurt Colin, because as we said, we believe everybody thought.
You've tickled me.
Oh, from this far away? How nice.
When Anthony left, Colin had a strained relationship with Penelope. He knows they've been friends forever. And so he's like, I left and you guys weren't even on speaking terms. Like, how did you get from there to there?
Yeah, I think his surprise was not so much mad and like, no, how dare you? It was,
no.
How did you? You guys were like, because him and Kate took months.
Him and Kate took a rock to the head to sort out.
I know, like he couldn't figure his mess out, and Colin figured it out in no time. But he was imparting his wisdom and at the same time saying, you know what, you might have been doing this right all along. And he realized his involvement, I think, in season one. I think going back to the engagement announcement in season one with Marina, Anthony and Violet's face tell you. Not the surprise was not that Colin was getting engaged. It's that Penelope was not standing by his side. I really believe that. And that is why Violet's so thrilled when they announced. And that's why Anthony is not mad this time, because it's who it's supposed to be. And he feels like he caused them to take this long, I think. So he's telling him, you need to tell her how you feel, all of it. Be vulnerable. That's the best thing you can do. I've learned this. Walk in my footsteps now. I have actual experience, because he's trying to run Colin's life in regards to courtship and marriage when he hasn't even decided to do that yet. But you know what I mean? But now he has the experience, and he's really being a big brother here.
Yes.
So Colin, of course, shoots up and says, I'm going to go right now.
And I think that Anthony knows, for as much as they are different, they still are cut from the same cloth. And I think the way that they choose to process is different, but I think that they still feel very similar things. They just, how they show what they're feeling is quite different. I think Anthony has always felt this pressure to be the man of the house, and so he has to be stoic and he has to push down those feelings. But we saw when Kate hurt herself, he broke down, and he broke down all those walls, and now he is the funny thing is now he is Colin, my wife Bridgerton from the books post wedding. Like, that is exactly who we are seeing Anthony to be. Like, granted, maybe a little bit more like violets, daffodils, forget-me-nots. You know, he's a little bit more intense, but he's actually far more in line with who Colin was in the books post-marriage than Anthony, because Anthony in the books post-marriage was still very, very doting on his wife, but very, I'm the man of the house. I need to get my paperwork done. That's the most important thing. You go do your little hosting and your little mama managing kind of, but I'm gonna do my manly stuff, you know? So I think that Anthony realizes the importance of being a doting husband, and that in order to have a happy marriage, you have to communicate.
And I think with the bros, I think Colin is actually a mix of both Anthony and Benedict. I think Benedict is probably the most sensitive, but because he potentially would be the Lord if anything happened to Anthony. Yeah. He was raised in such a way where he didn't get to be very sensitive, if that makes sense. So he learned how to mask, because watching him this season, as this is the season of everybody coming into their own, right?
Yes.
Benedict is way more sensitive. He's way more affectionate, and he's way more, I don't give a crap what anybody thinks. I'm going to kiss my brother on the top of his head in the middle of white. Like, he just I feel like care.
If he wasn't away at Eden when his dad died, or was he already?
He would have been at Eton. Anthony was at Oxford. If you're thinking of traditional educational years,
yeah. So I think that if Benedict wasn't away at Eden when his dad had died, that it would have been his bed that Gregory and Hyacinth would have climbed into for snuggles at nighttime. Like, you know how like you said, you had your sister, that's who you went to. I think it would have been Benedict or Daphne.
Right. I didn't go to my sister. My sister was forced to be our caregiver. Okay. Let's be for real. I mean, I did when I was little, I knew once my parents' bedroom door was shut, you did not interrupt them. My mom, I understand it now. I'm her age. I understand it now. So, you know, she needed her sleep. She had to deal with 6 kids. So you have older siblings when you're afraid of the dark or you hear a noise. And plus, we were all upstairs. So it was easier to walk across the hall to my sister's room.
Yeah.
I heard something. Instead of going all the way downstairs where the scary noise was.
Yes. Understood. So we've got Anthony, who's questioning Colin's motives, realizing we're
redoing the Bridgerton bro episode. We got to get past it.
I know. So Colin, like Anthony is realizing Colin is absolutely in love with this woman, and he is
Mm-hmm.
saying, you need to tell her that is why you are marrying her. You are not marrying her because you rushed anything, because you took
She needs to know it's
certain
not compromising.
it's not because you took certain liberties with her. You took the
Mm-hmm.
liberties because you loved her, not the other way around. And I think that's a really, really important note to make before we get on to this next part, because that is exactly what Portia throws in Penelope's face.
And
So
And I noticed, I think it's exactly what Penelope thought. And when we get there, I'll
yes.
explain when
So
she realizes
the
that it's not.
Featherington house scene starts out with Portia looking out the window, looking extremely pissed when Penelope enters the room. Penelope already looks on guard. Like the second that she walks into the
Yeah.
room and she calls out to her mum, like she knows this is going to be
Well,
a
and
shit show.
I want to point out, and I went back and checked, even just in episode 4, when Debling is in the house, that sofa is against the wall. It's against the window. Penelope's sofa is against the window from season 1 on until Portia realizes, and she's looking out the window when when Penn
This is
comes
what my
in.
daughter's been looking at the whole time.
And she
boards
puts
up
2 and 2 together. Now, mind you, Debling put it together super fast, right? But
like
Portia's
immediately.
like looking at the window, staring out.
It would have been so funny if Penelope had walked into that room and the windows are boarded up. You will
No,
not see that.
the sofa is now like 3.5 feet away from the window. Portia's standing behind the sofa looking out the window.
Yes. So Portia turns to her daughter and holds up the Lady Whistledown papers, asking Penelope, "This is how I hear of my daughter's engagement? You hide out in your room all day and let me read about it in Whistledown." I laughed at the scene so hard because I just said to Patty, I finally realized what this scene reminds me of. And it's Molly Weasley in the Chamber of Secrets after the boys get home from stealing their dad's car to go break
When
Harry
she
out of the
sends the
Dursleys.
thingy.
No note, bed's empty. Because it's the same thing. She's like, you've been out wandering at all times of night, no chaperone.
Well, the thing
That's
is,
like
and I'm throwing this in here now because I've already sent you a voice note on it.
yes.
I was listening to our last pod where we were talking about the Featheringtons and Portia's reaction and how we believe that all of the Bridgertons thought Colin and Penelope were going to get together. Like that was the thing.
Yeah.
And I believe I can say with my full chest, where we have said Portia is an obstacle, Portia has been thwarting the union of Colin and Penelope forever.
Yes.
In season 1, Penelope is not hanging out at Bridgerton house. Eloise is going to her house. And I think ever since Colin came home from Eton, visits now, like they occurred at Featherington house, right? Eloise was always going there. You have an appointment to go out to the market with, they were always hanging out. Every time you see Eloise and Penelope together, they're out and about talking about where babies come from. Or Eloise is sitting in the drawing room at Featherington house, right? And this plays into my whole mindset of Colin was really there to clock Penn and see what was going on there and got caught up in the Marina thing. Portia also, I mean, she's devious AF, but she openly encourages Marina to try and entrap Colin. Okay. Yes. She also is not promoting her daughter whatsoever.
Nope.
Whatsoever. Until she learns from Whistledown that Penelope was trying to get a husband and enlisted Colin's help to get a husband, not that husband would be Colin. So now she kind of jumps on board to help Penelope latch on to Debling, who is showing attention. Why? Because he is suitable. What she says kind of next in this argument seals the deal.
Yeah.
Because she's like, Debling was a suitable match. A reach, to be sure. But with all of his eccentricities, he was secure.
Well, even before that, Portia says, you let me read about it in Whistledown. And Penelope states that she did not much like announcing the happy news to you. Like, that is basically like saying, I didn't want to share my happy news because you would stomp on it and ruin that feeling. And that is like everything in Bridgerton time is meant to be.
I think that's Regency speak for, I didn't want to tell you before it came out in Whistledown because I needed you to have no power.
Well, that was what I was about to say is that everything in Regency time is never ever said straight out how you feel it. Everything is said in roundabout ways in which you have to read between the lines. This would be absolutely an exhausting time for you and I as empaths who do too much reading between the lines because there is way too much room for interpretation and it can go very badly.
Yes, but I think we would have excelled because we understand that what is said
Oh,
is not what
we
is
would
said.
1000% not excel because you and I are both incredibly outspoken and would not
Oh,
do well.
outs. Yeah, but we would be, I think we would be very good at, and I shared something with someone. I'm going to go back and find it, but it was totally, it was like basically how to call somebody dumb in all these different eras.
Yes. Was didn't Kay share that with us originally? Or was it?
I shared it.
Oh,
I shared
Kay
it
shared
because
out the swear words
you
one.
don't say you're stupid. It's rude. This is Bill Pratt, by the way, on TikTok. Yeah. Victorian
I should
English.
not
I
wish.
should not wish to fatigue your mind with particulars. Here it is. Aristocratic English. I should not trouble you with matters of complexity.
I feel like
Like,
Penelope would say that to her sisters.
yes. But I think here, her saying, I didn't much feel like sharing the happy news with you
Yeah.
meant I knew you were going to shit on it. I knew you
Yeah.
were going, you said to me, if I made the wrong choice, you were going to take it from me and make it yourself.
Yes.
And I had to make sure that didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is the first time we ever actually see Penelope truly stand up to her mum and tell her like exactly what Penelope thinks of their relationship.
I think
She's
try.
like,
We'll say try because Portia ends up in the lead in the
yes,
battle of words and wit.
yes. And Portia chats, happy. Isn't it funny that Portia would have been so happy about this match mere months ago? Well, maybe not months ago. If this match had happened before the Marina thing, because very much Portia is a narcissist. And even though the Bridgertons were completely innocent in her little scheme that she concocted, and she had to reap the rewards of that scheme. And realistically, if this was a judge and you were being trialed for something, let's say she was being trialed for manslaughter, she got the equivalent of house arrest for manslaughter. And she's complaining that, oh, you gave me manslaughter. I didn't even mean to do it, you know?
But here's the thing. I don't think Portia wanted them together at all. And here's why. I think she knew that Penelope was the most eligible. I think she knew that Penelope had a crush on Colin and she was trying to nip that in the bud. Personally, because of the mirror moment with her and Varley later.
Yes.
I think that she had something similar, that she was in love with a neighbor boy or a person from the neighborhood who was just had a little bit more clout in their society. And maybe it got somewhere and enough for her to be compromised. And he ends up Willoughbying her, is what I put in my notes. Like she got Willoughbyed from Sense and Sensibility, where Willoughby just dropped Marianne when it was inconvenient for him, whatever. So I think she's been trying to protect Penelope from what she thought Colin would do. One. Two, I think she thought Penelope would be the one getting them a lord, right? Because Prudence, like she's always been so focused. I think she was so focused on Prudence in season one. I think part of that reason, though, is to keep Penelope from being marketable. She put her out on the ton a whole year early. A respectable man, which she knew all the Bridgertons were purported to be and held to, at least publicly, they would not touch Penelope with a 10-foot pole because they would consider her a child. She was put out too early. So she was safe from Penelope being courted by Colin for 1 year. And then Colin left. Portia didn't know why that he was on his travels. She didn't hear his name again until she found out that Penelope was writing to him. And what did she do? She crushed her little heart.
Yeah.
She purposely was trying to keep them separated. I'm pretty sure of it.
So, you know how we talk all the time about how Bridgerton, this season especially, has borrowed from so many romantic-y, rom-com genres. Yeah. This entire scene is basically from The Notebook, where Ali was in love with Noah. And the funny thing is, Noah comes from Theo's kind of class, maybe a step above because he did go into the army, which gave him a slightly higher standing in society than a laborer.
Military man. Yeah.
Yeah, a military man was much higher standing than a laborer. But I digress. So Colin is well above the standard. He comes from wealth. He's been raised with silver spoon in his mouth, but it still gives off the exact same vibes where Portia's like, he is not good enough for you. And I think very much that Portia has had a chip on her shoulder from the get-go with the Bridgertons, even before the Marina situation, because we see in the very first scenes them all step out into the steps and kind of,
her and Violet were kind of cold.
like, it's the bare minimum of greetings.
And she instantly at tea said, I bet it's one of those Bridgertons. Like,
yes,
I think it's definitely a jealousy. She wants what they have, and she wants to be aligned with them, but she's even faking it until she makes it after this scene, because it's very forced and it's very fake that she's acting happy. She's not really happy. She is scared until the wedding day, which is because I think she thought what happened to her is going to happen to Penn, and she didn't want it to happen to Penn. And she understands very, we were talking about her being narcissistic already. So
yeah,
I think that she was, this is classic narcissism. She doesn't have the power. Penelope, as Whistledown, put it in Whistledown and made it sound like possibly, though, because she doesn't say. She just says, we're unsure how they came to be together. They are now, so we need to be happy for them. Kind of throwing that little hint out there. And that's why Portia goes, and you've been traipsing around all times of the night with no chaperone.
Without a chaperone.
She intended for Portia to think that, to take away her power. But now Portia is trying to manipulate and gaslight and rewrite history and rewrite herself out of it. It's all Marina's scheme. Do you remember how they treated us? This family's not going to align with us, not going to like us. We have no idea why they're doing this. Look at how they treated us. Like, she's trying to manipulate Penelope to take it away, to renege on it, to say this, I can't marry you. This isn't good.
This is where Penelope gets her writing skills from, because her mama has completely rewritten history.
Yeah, she has. Because do we remember?
She has quite the imagination.
Do we remember promenading and you turning your nose up and being completely snotty to the Bridgertons? Yes. I believe. Who treated who like dogs? I would like to know. Asking for a friend.
Yeah. But the fact that Portia actually brings up Dabbling and says, yes, he was a reach for sure with his eccentricity, but like, what a barb to her daughter to say the only way that you could get dude. The only way for you to get a man of worth, you with your body, with your quietness, with all your flaws in the eyes of the ton, the only way for you to get a wealthy man of status is if he's weird enough to accept you. That's what it felt like. I was like, wow, mum, punch me in the face, why don't you?
But again, as a narcissistic parent, having had one, she's really projecting. She wants Penelope to feel responsible for the situation. What she's really thinking is, once they get close enough, once the marriage contracts start getting signed and they get close enough to see what's going on in our family, they're going to call it off. I think that's her biggest fear, because when Colin walks in and she gets caught, she is immediately mortified and trying to scramble, because she doesn't want to be the one that ruins it for Penelope herself. She wants to be able to blame Penelope and put all the responsibility on her. But I think what she was worried about, she used Penelope's weight and everything because the sisters brought it up. But I think she knew Penelope had a chance. I just think she didn't try too hard with her daughters. She was fine with them getting misters. It worked to her advantage. But she was afraid of people getting too close to the family. She didn't want how she'd been raising the family in survival mode to be scrutinized by anyone else, especially.
Yes.
Because,
well, and I mean,
the Bridgertons also, I find it interesting that she brings, sorry. We have the internet. We have the internet's causing, like, as soon as I think you're done, I start talking or whatever, like.
It is a little bit of a lag today.
There is a lag today. Yeah. But I think that she brings up Marina, and I think she brings up Marina again to manipulate Penelope, because it comes right after she says, did he say that he loves you?
Yes.
And it was in that moment that Penelope realized he hadn't. She had felt it. He had said he had feelings, but he never actually used those words. And as we have always said at the Ladies Bridgerton, words matter. Word usage matters. And Portia's using that as a narcissistic parent to try and cause her to have insecurity about the union and the match so that she can weasel her way back in to manipulate it. But this is when she goes into her whole diatribe of the entrapment. And I think she is convincing Penn that that's what Penn had to have done. And think about it. You grew up a girl under the patriarchy. So did I. When two people end up being intimate together, who gets blamed?
Always the girl. Always.
Always the girl.
100% of the time.
You
It
have to
is,
keep
it
your
is
clothes on. You have to put on the
200
brakes.
years later,
Yeah.
and
there's
it's still
even
women.
I mean, it's even in the mirror scene. He's like, if you don't want this to happen, you have to tell me to stop.
Yeah.
Like, why, Colin? I mean, king of consent. I'm glad he at least said that, right? But that's even still the patriarchy alive and well in Colin.
And I kind of want to jump back. So I try to get before you got onto this part so we're not having to jump too much. But that's all good. I'm going to jump back to a second about what you said about how Portia is like living in survival mode. And I think when you have been living in survival mode for so long, I do think that this is where Portia's narcissism has come from, because she's had to make everything about her in order to be able to survive Archibald and the Ton. Because the Ton is not a kind place. Even for Violet, who is as kind as she is, it is not a kind place. And it is, you know, in the words of Taylor Swift, like surrounded by vipers.
Yeah.
And she has a perfect line that actually goes along with this. And it's basically people who are trying to tell you how to live your life with well-meaning words, but really they just want to control you. And that is the Ton, and that is Portia. And I think that the reason that Portia struggles so hard with the Bridgertons is she feels like she has had to beg and claw and fight and scrap for every inch of the teeny sprinklings of respect that she does have in the Ton. And I don't even know if it's a sprinkling or a singular speck of grain of salt sort of in the Ton, the respect for the family. But she feels like she has had to fight for all of it. And she looks at the Bridgertons, and even when they do wrong, she feels like they are the golden child of the Ton and they can get away with anything. And so for someone who has had it so tough, and I think she really needs to take a good hard look at herself of what tough actually looks like. Ironically, she takes Marina to the slums of town to show Marina what tough is like, but she fails to realize that could have been her reality too. But
I don't think she fails. I'm wondering if
I think she knows.
She knew that part of.
And I think that's why she's so hard on Penelope in the scene, is because she knows that is a reality for some women, and it is better to live with a man like Archibald than to live in the slum, even if it's with someone that you love, like Theo. You know, to live in that part of town, like in her mind, there is nothing worse. And we even see it in Hermione, Emma Watson's character in Little Women.
She
the one who marries the teacher.
Meg.
You know, we can even see that she is a little disenchanted after a while, and she's like, I love my husband and I love him, but sometimes I just want something nice for myself.
Yeah.
Life is hard. I have children. It is hard. I have a husband who's sick. It is hard. Life is hard. And I think Portia
Smaug
doesn't
and I had
want
a conversation a few weeks ago, and I had said, like, something I envy in him. Like, he builds foundations. Like, he wants to do something and he puts together a foundation and it stays. And I feel like sometimes I work and try and keep the foundation from like I'm working to fix stuff, kind of like, you know, living in a house that you get one thing fixed and another thing breaks. Like I sometimes feel like that's what my existence is. Whereas it's like, to me, like if he touches it, it's going to be successful.
And I think
I don't think that's a privilege or anything. And I don't think he thinks he's better than anybody by any means. But that's my perspective.
And that's the thing, is Portia is so deep into her narcissism that yes, the Bridgertons do get a lot of allowances, but they also struggle in other ways because of it. So like for us, big hearts, we, you know, love everything. So like you're not as good with finances, like you struggle with, like, because you've been doing it on your own for so long that you've always done it on the minimum. You've always taken care of everyone around you, and therefore you haven't been allowed those extras in life because you've been working on your own rather than it being a team effort ever. And that's exhausting. You've been doing it on your own your whole life, and Portia feels like she's been doing it on her own her whole life, and her husband was just yet another. So for her, she's like, yes, Violet is doing it on her own now, so we should be equals, but the difference is even though her husband died 15 years ago, she still has that love of her husband. She has still felt that love, and that love is radiated in her children. And it gives them all privilege that she has never experienced. And so I think there is a lot of
And they have the
jealousy.
money where the
Yes.
Featheringtons don't, that they are able to maintain loving relationships. Like I think Portia ties, because she talks about security being the best kind of match. I think
Yes.
she ties emotional connection with stability. Like I can't
Yeah.
be emotionally connected because I'm so busy creating
Well,
stability.
and look at how she looks down on the Mondrick family, and yet they had no money or very little money, shall we say, and yet they had stability because they had a really
Mhm.
solid relationship foundation. They built that foundation together.
They work together, yes.
Instead of it just being dust and water, they made concrete. They
Yeah.
worked together to make concrete. And that's the foundation is what your entire structure is built on. And she made hers on hay and it got wet. And
I don't
it's
know if
just
she made hers. I think hers was given to her. Like I truly think that there may have been a situation and she didn't get what she thought she was supposed to get.
yeah,
And I think she thought Archibald was stronger and,
more
of
dependable.
course, more dependable. But there was also, you have that feeling that they didn't get to know each other. I mean, especially in the ton. Remember in season 1 when Daphne talked about, oh, so and so wore that one dress and she got a proposal the very same night, the first
Yeah.
night she was out. That was considered success. You don't even know this person. And I
Yes.
think that happened with Portia. Like, I think she got into a situation where she got a little compromised and she had to take what she could get. And she got somebody that didn't know how to maintain the estate, maintain the funds. And
Hmm.
she's been having to she's been the man. She's had
Yeah.
to pick up the pieces for years.
With no training because she was not trained how to be a man. She was trained how to be a woman.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think and like I know this is seeming more like a portrait analysis right now, but I think it's really, really crucial
It
to
plays into how
understand.
she treats Penelope because,
Yeah.
yes, she's cruel. She's cruel to Penelope. We see it as cruel because we're meant to relate to Penelope. She's one of the leads,
Yeah.
for crying out loud. But there's a story behind Portia. And I do hope, because Julia Quinn said there is room. And Shonda Rhimes said there is
Yes.
room
For spin-offs. Yeah.
for other spin-offs and other stories from the Bridgerverse. I hope Portia gets a story because she's
Yes.
as much as Penelope's a complex character, she was mothered by someone. She was birthed by someone, and Portia is so complex. She is that anti-hero that I think
Hmm.
would make a great story of how
She
she
kind
got
of
to be the
reminds me
way
of
she was.
she reminds me of Maleficent. Like if she was a
Yeah,
Disney villain,
Maleficent
oh, that would be a fun episode. What Bridgerton characters would be
in
both
Disney.
it would be a really fun to do. If what would be their hero character, like their
And
Disney
their villain.
princess, or and then what their villain era would be.
Oh,
I'm gonna
that's good. Write that down.
I'm writing it down. I'm excited. Bridgerton.
But yeah, it's important to know, especially because we want to keep this scene by itself because the mirror scene has to be by itself. But we
Yes.
need to analyze Portia a little bit here because Portia created Penelope. Penelope is who she is. She's as insecure as she is because of Portia. And this scene perfectly shows how Portia manipulates and has manipulated her kids. And she's been able to manipulate Prudence and Philippa and still believes she has control over them. But
Question.
she's always felt she didn't quite have control of Penelope, and she digs in hard.
Question.
Yeah.
Season 2. Anthony announced, well, Violet announced that Anthony was on the marriage mark. Not once did we see Portia try to engage with any of the Bridgertons in order to secure that match, despite him being literally stated as being the most eligible bachelor of the season.
By the time they walked into that ball and Violet announced it, it was well known that he had gone through the ton and met with the ladies that he considered eligible, and he did not go to Featherington House. I think that if Portia thought
But
there was a nugget of hope,
Portia,
she'd have been throwing Prudence at
no,
him.
Portia is a scrapper. She is an absolute scrapper. You saw it was well known that Simon did not want to marry, that he was never going to marry in the ton. That was
Mm-hmm.
well known knowledge.
And what
And
did
yet
Daphne
every
and what
single
did Daphne
mama,
do? What did Daphne do to get Simon to come to his senses? Just go with me here. Answer. What did Daphne do to get Simon to go to come?
She compromised him.
No, 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 no. What did she do? She made him jealous
Yes.
by going after another man.
Yes.
Season 3 got Colin to realize he better latch on to Penn before he loses her.
Yes. But what
Another
I'm saying
man.
is
What did Portia do with Prudence in season 2? She latched him to Jack because
okay. Well,
I
no,
think
because she didn't just latch him, she engaged. So that's kind of not as easy to break.
it was a compromise, but they were still family. And I think it could have been broken if somebody of higher rank came in and said,
But
oh,
keep in
wait.
mind, in season 2, Jack, that situation she was concocting with Jack
And
that
situation happened. That situation happened after he was already openly courting Edwina too. She was desperate
Yes.
and she did that because she needed to save the family.
Yes, but
so
I think there
was still, she definitely was putting her girls in his purview, but when she believed he had made his choice, she didn't sue.
Penelope was still an option and she had a tie to the family already. She could have tried to hustle that situation. And if she were really the matchmaking mama that she thinks
I think she knew that that whole
but
family knew that Penelope was going to get with Colin. All the Bridgertons kind of threw them together. Portia's not an idiot. She knew.
Portia could have been like, oh, well, like, I know you like this one, but this one's basically just the upgraded version. Like, this way you get money, security, and that kind of personality in his older brother. Like, if she really thought that I don't think that she really ever believed that Penelope had any chance. Otherwise, she would have been sending her out.
I don't think she had a chance with Anthony at all. I don't think she had a chance with Anthony.
With anyone, because in her own words, you've been out at all times of night without a chaperone. She's blaming Penelope for this. It is not Penelope's responsibility to sort a chaperone for herself. It is Portia's responsibility to organize a chaperone for Penelope, and she did not deem it necessary. And do you remember how I don't know if you've read Hyacinth's book, right?
Yeah.
You remember how mad Gareth gets at Hyacinth for being out without someone to chaperone her. He is livid with her. You could have been taken by anyone. Anything could have happened to you. Do you know what the men will do to a woman?
And that's how Colin was when he realized that Penelope was going to
But Portia did not care because she didn't think that anyone would even want to touch Penelope. I don't think that she thought that she was marriageable at all.
I don't think that she necessarily thought she was marriageable. I think she knew Penelope had a crush on Colin. I think she knew Colin had a crush on her. And I think she was keeping them apart because of her own muck and mire from her past, which, I think she got her heart broken by the neighbor boy and she's projecting that onto Penelope. You can marry anyone but that boy, because that's what this speech kind of gives me when she gets all sneery and she goes, what, to play out a fancy on the neighbor boy?
Yes.
And then when she sees, when she tells her Debling asked to propose and Penn was like hemming and hawing and she goes, oh, you're trying to hold out for love.
Yes.
If you're not going to make the right choice, I will make it for you. She is trying to, it's Portia. She wants to protect her kids. She's just going about it in the wrong way. And I think that she's projecting her own stuff onto Penn. I think she thought Penn was safe except from Colin.
I think that part of, and keep in mind, Portia is a narcissist, so you kind of have to see the feeling, but then dig for the root cause of why she is lashing out, because she doesn't know anything other than lashing out, rather than be like, I am terrified. She has no
power. She's terrified that she can't fix this. She thinks it's something that needs fixed.
I think that she realizes her mistake in this moment, but she does not know how to acknowledge that she has made mistakes. So instead she says, you've been out without a chaperone, not I have not provided you a chaperone. And oh my God, are we about to be in another Marina situation where you are pregnant without a ring on your finger? And what is going to happen to you and the Ton? And more importantly, how will the Ton see me if I have an unmarried pregnant daughter? I can never survive that scandal. Because Portia is, at the end of the day, yes, she would be worried about her daughter, but at the end of the day, she'd be most worried about how it
She's worried
affects
about herself.
yes. So I do actually think that because of the Marina situation and it being Colin of all people after the Marina situation, she is like, all right, Marina 2.0, here comes another pregnancy scandal.
Yes, but I also think she's using that as it's coercive control. She's trying
Yes.
to crush Penelope's little bit of rebellion here
Yes.
so she can fix it. Reminding Penelope, because if Penelope truly has crushed on Colin all this time, which I think she has known she has, Marina would be a sore spot. And she was absolutely right, because the second she brings up, did he say I love you? The look on Penn's face, she was kind of about to say, yeah. She was about to retort immediately.
Yes.
But then stopped herself and was like, well, not in those exact words. And then Portia goes off about the whole, you remember how they treated us like dogs after Marina's scheme.
And you could
You
tell.
treated them
So
like dogs after the debacle. And Marina, that was not just her scheme.
Up until that point, Penelope had this look on her face as if everything that Portia was saying, she expected Portia to say, and she was just keeping an absolute like, yep, 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 this is everything I expected. And then when
Until Marina,
Portia says,
does he love you?
did he tell you he loves you? That was the
knife in the gut.
I hadn't even considered it from that angle. And I think she got so swept up in the night's event that she felt so loved in the way that he acted. And then now she's backtracking and thinking,
her mother's making her question it.
He said this and this and this, and he showed me he loved me. But am I misinterpreting that? Because how could anyone love me? And she's got her mum, who is the worst devil on her shoulder, speaking every insecurity that she has ever felt. Every insecurity she's ever felt has come from her mother.
Portia's created those insecurities because that's how she has managed and monitored and mothered her kids, because she didn't have the spoons for three. Oops, so sorry, she used coercive control to manage her children. Portia kind of does the same thing, but in a nice way. Like, she's the Sphinx and she comes from a place of love, but Portia comes from a place of survival. They are similar mamas in how they handle things. Just Portia pushes the buttons, like she goes for the jugular and Violet goes for the heart.
But it's the not in those exact words. And then her mom turns on her fake empathy. Oh, Penelope. Like,
yeah, but that's also exasperation. How could you be? Like, of course you're so naive. Yeah, like I thought you were the smart one.
It's oh, my dear summer child. Like, how could you be so naive?
My sweet summer child.
Yeah.
And then Penn was like, you're wrong. I was born on Ep5.
Well, I mean, that's autumn New Zealand.
Yeah. But she gets so worked up. And at this point, that is the point when she said, did he say he loves you? That's the point Penn started losing in this battle, because that was the thing she hadn't considered. And to be honest, she had to admit he hadn't said it. And personally, for me, I think that's when Colin entered the house, because of exactly what he said when he came in, because he was not just defending her, but he was reassuring her at the same time. And, because we're coming up to his entry.
To the very same Bridgerton boy using Lord knows what wiles to entrap him. And isn't it funny that they use, this is almost a little Easter egg. Lord was done in capital because he's going to be the father of the, I mean, this is me practicing my reaching for the morning.
And I was going to bring it up in the mirror scene with the audio, because I learned that with Netflix, with the audio transcription, one of two things: you can submit the script and they do the audio transcription themselves based on what you show of the show. But of course, Bridgerton, Netflix, they don't want news getting out of what it's like. So they would have submitted what they want the audio transcription to say. They would have scripted it themselves, because it's important that, and the captioning, it's important that they keep saying it's a peacock blue blanket.
Yes.
In the scene with the peacock eyes.
And the very same Bridgerton boy using Lord. Lord is with a capital L, which makes it a noun, which means you are naming someone.
That's a pronoun.
Pronoun. Thank you. We are not
Lord
using
knows.
Not Lord knows as a describing word. This is a naming word. I am
Yeah,
naming him.
because that's exactly what happened. Because the second they did that, they created the Lord.
Lord. Lordy Lord.
But as he enters, my point
Well,
is
I mean, the irony is they're about to create the Lord in just
she
5
just
minutes
thinks it's
time.
already happened. Portia thinks it's already happened. We're going to
Yes.
say like 15, 20 minutes. It wasn't 5 minutes. They had to go to
No.
Bloomsbury.
Oh, I meant 5 minutes in screen time.
Show screen time.
Yeah. Colin doesn't work that fast, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to think that he is into a bit of
He
foreplay.
works pretty fast, but not that fast.
No, I feel like he'd be a foreplay king, to be honest.
So Colin's entrance tells me a few things.
Well, I'll be getting to that part already, Patty.
Yes, I'm there. So Colin bursts in, right? And Varley's coming up
There's
behind,
more.
like, Mr. Colin Bridgerton is here. Like she's running after Colin. So everybody can imagine Colin comes in their home and hears
Excuse me. What an unexpected delight.
Here, hold on. We're focusing on the entrance totally right now. So we can assume he walks in the door, he hears the argument, he knows that Penelope needs help, and he rushes up the stairs. Well, no offense, we've seen their stairs. They're not carpeted. They're wood stairs. We would have heard the commotion. Portia would have heard the commotion. Penelope would have heard the commotion. I think that
he would have been taking those stairs
Varley,
2 at a time, stomping his way up.
And Varley, being the housekeeper and the employee of Portia, knowing she was going to have an argument. Yeah, she was going to have an argument with her daughter, I think would have told Varley no visitors. And that's why she said, what a unexpected delight, because she had told Varley no visitors. So I think
I wish she looked at Varley like, you did this. And Varley's like,
she looked at Varley like defeated at the end. Yeah,
I would never.
I think Varley knew that Portia was angry. I think Varley knew what Penn had coming, and Varley let Colin in like this, like open the door, finger to lips, like shh, and a crook of the finger, like you need to fix this.
Let's go get your girl.
Yeah, like Varley was like, I'm tired of Penelope being treated like the redheaded stepchild and not the redheaded child.
Pretend for a second like the characters are as they are in the book. And the head of the household, being Varley, head of the management household, they knew housekeeper, they knew everything that happened in the house. And as much as Ray is a ride or die for Penelope, I do still wonder whether Ray had told Varley at all, Mr. Colin Bridgerton has been by. He had been sending I think she would know about the letters going to Penelope.
Somebody in that house had to know, because nobody knew.
Someone had to be covering it up.
It had to be covering it up for her, and Ray would have gone back to Varley. Ray was a new employee.
Yes.
So Varley knew, and Varley has always had a soft spot for Penn.
Yes.
The mirror doesn't lie.
Yes.
The looking glass doesn't lie. Like she is trying to build Penelope up as much as she can under Portia's purview. So I think she let Colin in, told him to be quiet, like, I'll get you up there and then you can save the day, whatever. Or Bridgerton just didn't think people like us would look into that. Like, I personally think Portia would have seen Colin coming from across the square. Grosvenor Square is not small.
I think that Varley's been playing matchmaking mama the whole 3 seasons with Penelope and Colin. Like, I think with all of them,
I think she's doted on those girls herself.
Yes.
Because Portia's not a doting mother. Varley's been the doting parent of that.
Yes.
That twosome.
And they're protected when they need it from Portia.
Yeah.
So I actually think that Varley knew this whole time what was going on, and she specifically hid it from Portia
to give them a chance. Yeah.
To give them a chance, to give them time to figure out what they were.
Giddy at the end of the scene. Like, she is trying to keep it in. And when Portia looks at her all defeated, like, I lost. And that's why I feel like Portia's been trying to prevent this, because that look of defeat that she gives Varley at the end, and Varley had been smiling like all tense and giddy. And then she calmed down like, Gotta
I'm
watch
about to
my
be in trouble.
face. Yeah, I'm about to get in trouble. But okay, so Colin bursts into the room and says,
I would not be long.
well, that's not the first thing he says.
No.
He pops in and says, I forget the first thing, but he says, and since we are all speaking so freely,
Second it all.
because she
Bridgerton
said,
boys, knowing Lord knows what. Excuse me,
yeah,
Mr.
excuse me,
Bridgerton, here's
excuse
ma'am.
me. And Penn
Mr.
turns
Bridgerton, what
around
an
all
unexpected
ashamed,
delight.
like,
I would not be staying long, but since we are all speaking so freely, and I love that sentence, what he's basically saying is if you're gonna shit on me, I'm gonna take a monumentous dump on you. This is a night
yes.
out drinking, full of junk food from the 3 a.m. walk of shame home, like stopping at the kebab shop, get something greasy. That is what I'm gonna lay out on you right now.
Well, and I think I love this line so much because in his home, they speak to each other, even with the antagonism between him and Anthony,
Yes.
there's still a
Yes.
respect behind it. They
Respect.
tease,
Yes.
but there's respect. And she just out and out called her daughter a
A
whore.
slag. Yeah. Yeah.
And
as if the only way for you to ever get a man like that is by entrapping him into marriage.
yes, so he cannot believe a mother. This is Colin realizing, like,
and I think this must also feel nice for him, given the whole situation with Marina, who did actively try to use her wiles to entrap Colin, and he knew it after the fact. Obviously, he would have thought back and, oh yeah, that time that she said, close the door, kiss me, whatever. And he's like, no, 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 I will not compromise you. And then this time he's like, her mother and her obviously had nothing to do with it. Well, I mean, he knew that anyway, but it's also,
no, I
it's
think
always
he
nice
still
to
think
know that.
I think they all believe Portia was a part of it. I think that in this moment tells us Portia was a part of it because it's where she first goes when she's like, how in the world did you catch a man? Right?
Yeah.
You had to have entrapped him. So I think he knows.
Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. Where did you get your Super Bowl from?
Colin is Jigglypuff.
I mean, if there is a geeky reference that we can make on this pod, be rest assured that I will make it.
Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
That's basically Portia's theme song to like getting her daughters married off.
I saw a meme where because Ed Sheeran was Hannah.
Yes. No. It the newest pictures with Ed Sheeran is with Phoebe Deniver.
Phoebe Deniver, yeah.
Deniver, thank you.
But they said that he's collecting Bridgerton
Collecting all the Bridgertons,
like Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
That was funny.
The music video with Rupert Grint and them two getting married was just hilarious.
I love Rupert Grint. I love Rupert Grint. But yes, that's so funny.
I love Rupert Grint and Ed Sheeran's connection as well, because when Ed Sheeran first came out, he like that was kind of in the still peak Harry Potter era, and everyone would convince the two because they were both really famous redheads who weren't famous for their looks. And
they do have very similar like face shape and things like that. So, and there's some people out there is a thing like a lot of humans cannot detect detail in faces.
Yes.
So
as soon as it's a race outside of our own, we struggle.
So Rupert Grint and Ed Sheeran, by a majority of humans, would be confused for each other.
Yeah, but it's funny, like it was hilarious that he leaned into that. And in his music video Lego House, when he was first kind of getting famous, they had Rupert Grint act as Ed Sheeran, and the two of them meet at the end and be like, you, are you me? Am I you? Who's who? Right. So I like that they're kind of like leaning back into that nod. Back to Bridgerton.
Back to Bridgerton. But yeah, so we get to see. So here's a couple of things that all happen in.
That was not meant for your ears. I am still speaking. Yeah.
And you got to understand, like, there's so much that happens that goes unsaid. This is the first time Colin truly realizes how Penelope's treated at her home.
Yes.
He realizes his privilege in this moment. He realizes and understands probably why Penelope did not ever tell him her feelings in all of the scenarios he set up to give her the safety to do so, which is what I think the marriage lessons were. I think he thought because she's introverted, they would have to be alone, that she wouldn't do it in a ballroom, right? She wouldn't do it in front of the family. So I think, and that's why, with the audio, he closed his hand. I think he was testing the waters to see if she would spill her feelings first, and she didn't. And now he knows why. And every last what happened with Marina, how she's treating Penn, it all culminates together. Like Colin putting Portia in her place is Colin's testicles descending ultimately. Well, like he grew up here because he sees how he's has always been against bullies. Like look at Cressida in season 1. Like he realizes Penelope's biggest bully is not Cressida Cowper.
No.
And he lays in hard. And the best, I wish Finch had been in the room. I wish Finch and them had not gone home because Finch needed to see him go. But I'm still speaking.
In the line, if Finch heard Colin bellow, I am still speaking. I think Finch would have let out one of those little inescapable giggles.
He would have been like
a little nervous giggle, it would have just broken the scene hilariously. And then Philippa would have been like,
Philippa would,
I think, make that sound.
And the reason the scene is what it is, because if you remember from the book, everybody was present.
Yes.
Portia was humiliated. I mean, nobody could believe except Felicity. Felicity's the only one who understood that Colin was there to ask for Penelope's hand.
You mean even Nigel Philippa didn't know?
Yeah, Nigel, Philippa, Prudence, none of them had any clue. And they were trying to get Penelope out of the room. So Portia's embarrassment is because everybody witnessed it. And here, Portia's embarrassment is realizing, I didn't pay my daughter enough attention. I might have been a little bit too harsh on her. Here is a man I have never come in contact with before in my life. He is actually standing up to me. I didn't get to plan.
Mad.
He is angry.
The man who in the ton is known as funny and charming and always on. Always, when I say always on.
Jovial. Amiable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody likes him, and he is ripping into me right now. What is happening?
Yeah, I think that she purposely picked men. Well, I mean, she didn't really pick Finch, but she approved of Finch. Well, she purposely picked men that she could control, and she already feels powerless. And now here's Colin setting her down because, he is now responsible for Penelope in his mind. So
we have only ever seen the side of Colin once before, and that was in telling off Jack for what? Doing exactly the same, putting Penelope in a compromised position.
Yeah, but he said the family then to protect their
very much.
Yeah, he meant Penelope. But Portia, of course, spirals. The what an unexpected delight line. I really think she was trying to save the moment, but that was her way of telling Varley, you might get fired later.
Just
Colin was an unexpected delight, like finding blood in your stool. I mean,
I was gonna say
a fly in an unexpected. That's the kind of
an unexpected delight was walking out to find my dog had gone doo-doos inside yesterday. Stephen comes in the room.
I'm going to use that all the time now.
Stephen comes in the room. I'm because I yelled out to him
flat tire. What an unexpected delight.
So I was cooking dinner. I just started cooking dinner, and I was turned around, and I'm like, did something spill in my air fryer? What is the smell? Something smells really wrong here. And then I turned around and I saw it. And I yelled out to Stephen because I've got food all over my hands, and I'm yelling out to Stephen hey, can you get some toilet paper? And he comes in and he's like, dinner smells so delightful. What an unexpected delight.
What an unexpected delight. And I just want to say that my first watch of this scene, because I was so ready for it.
I bet you were.
Justice Hackles and all of it, and Penn being my girl. But when he said, "But I am still speaking," I squealed like a teeny bopper at a boy band show.
I remember, I wish you had the things to pull up from, because I remember voice noting to you, but oh, he got her. I was absolutely and I remember
these
yelling
voice notes for anyone who may want to become a Patreon. The episode 5 voice notes are up on Patreon for
Oh,
our
really?
Patreons. Yes.
I need
I
to go
haven't
through and listen to them.
I have 6 edited. Like I have 6 in there, but I have to get the photographs in that cover like the scenes that we talk about. So they're not up yet, but episode 5 is there on Patreon. So if anybody wants to join us over on Patreon and become a Patreon of the podcast of the Ladies Bridgerton, you will get to hear our episode 5 first reactions,
Unfiltered first
unfiltered
reactions.
voice notes.
And Patty and I had only just like met, quotation marks, like 2
Yeah.
weeks prior to
2
this.
weeks prior.
And so they're like super unfiltered. And I remember being like, get him, Colin, get him.
Yeah. Get her, get her, get her. But when he
when I
says,
wasn't saying get him, I was saying get him.
yeah,
For reference.
like finish her.
Yeah.
Now here's the part where I believe that because Penelope has taken on all the shame of women of all time, because we're always
Yes.
given the shame of, you know, don't go out with that much skin exposed. You'll tempt the boys. Don't wear too much
Yes.
makeup at the young age. You'll tempt the boys. Don't wear a bra, even though the school told you you had to start wearing one. I was called into the office and my parents were told to buy me a bra because I was growing and the boys were looking and I didn't want to tempt them. And then I got my bra and they started snapping it. And guess what? I needed to wear shirts thick enough to cover the strap because I was tempting them. So Penelope believes she entrapped Colin.
But the fact
and the moment you realize that she actually believes this is when he says, your daughter did not entrap me.
She turns and looks at him with like absolute
relief.
It's not even relief. It is like,
no, you're thinking of the look when he says, I did this out of love. The first look.
No. This is
that's
it
shock.
literally says
that's like I didn't.
Your daughter did not entrap me. And this is the face.
Yeah, that's shock. She's like, I didn't. Like she really thought she did. She thought she entrapped him.
I think it's more shock that someone is standing up to her mum and like the overwhelming feelings of relief that for once she does not have to just push her feelings down and accept whatever feeling someone else is telling her to feel. She has someone being like, no, that is not how it is. You cannot take away from what we feel.
Yeah, she's been a victim of gaslighting for so long. You can see where she started believing the things Portia was saying. And now he's saying, no, that's not the case. And she's like, really? Like for her, it was like, and that's why she went stone cold silent. She was dissociating. She didn't even know what to do in that moment.
And the fact that she, like he says, I proposed to her out of love and nothing left. That was such a beautiful line. I remembered like just squealing with delight at that because it's the first time that he does, like, especially after the line. And I do wonder whether he did hear that line, you know, does he love you? I don't think he did, but I think especially after the conversation
thinking of timing of coming up the stairs quietly to not be heard, I think he did hear that line and he knew,
coupled with the conversation he'd had with Anthony about
with his brothers,
tell her it's because of love, you know.
And I think he meant to tell her. I think he meant to tell her first, but he got his hackles up here. But can you imagine? I mean, I don't know the situations. I don't know of the situations where you've been told you're loved, but there's one thing with being told you're loved for the first time where they say, I love you, which comes later, and we'll discuss that in another scene. But this is the first time she is hearing anyone say they love her.
The first time Stephen said it, I cried because I didn't believe it, and not because I didn't believe it because I knew he did, but I'd had trauma where it was said and not meant.
Yes, I've had that too. The first time Smaug ever said it to me, I said, you don't mean it. And you don't have to say it because I said it. You can wait. And like, you don't say it to me. It's important to me. Don't say it to me until you mean it. And then literally a month and a half later, we're on the phone because, you know, we live in different parts of the state and we met at college. So this is over Christmas break. And he whispered it to me on the phone. And I think I cried 2 hours because I told him, don't say it till you mean it so I can believe it.
This is one of my favorite faces that Colin pulls because he is pained by having to deal with this woman. And were you not so narrowly concerned over your own standing?
But But that's the thing. And this is, his eyes are closed here.
He is
does that eye close thing
agitated.
because he wants the right words to come out of his mouth so bad that he did it in the carriage when he wanted, I need the perfect words. I need the perfect words. He like closes his eyes so he can write them on the screens of his eyes before he says them. And he does it here too.
He's like, he's closing his eyes. He's written them down. He's written out his speech, and he's trying to, where am I up to my speech? It's which card am I on?
It's so neurodivergent. It's amazing because like in season 2, when he says, I rehearsed this speech for hours, this is him. He has, and this tells me too, like he didn't expect to give Portia the takedown like this. Like he didn't know Portia was this bad, but he's scripted some sort of conversation because he didn't want Portia to think that Penelope had done anything untoward. And he wanted to come and say, I truly want to marry your daughter. I love her. And, you know, she is the most eligible, blah, blah, blah. Like
And instead we get, and were you not so narrowly concerned over your own sanity, you might see that Penelope is the most eligible among you all. Like
all of
she says you, but he also means even you in your prime. Portia, she is better than you all.
She's better than you 20 years ago.
But
and Penn's look then, like I wrote in my notes.
Or in the words of Harry Potter, it is Harry telling Neville that he is worth 10 Draco Malfoys.
Yeah. I wrote in my notes for this, when he says she is the most eligible among you, the look on Penelope's face is like, oh my God, I love that man of mine. Like, and women understand this. You can get aroused with zero touch.
Oh,
with no
1000%.
Touch, you can be aroused by words. You can be aroused by a look from the right person, the right man. Oh, yes. And she's watching her man not only just say he loved her to her mother, stood up to her to her mother, and just said she is the most eligible in the household. She is like, what's happening down there? Like,
and instead of it being aroused. The final count, instead of it being the final countdown, I'm ready for the final takedown. Right. In the future.
I honestly think I almost wish she would have grabbed the back of the settee, like, and we could have seen her be weak-kneed, because that is how I think she looked. Like, oh my God.
Yes.
Like, that was so sexy.
And in the future, I advise you not to sully our Bridgerton name. Like,
I wish it turns to pen.
I wish that the writing, like, that they put ow, full stop, Bridgerton, full stop,
period,
name, period. Mic drop.
And what I wrote here, I was like, one, Colin believed they were already married. Like, in his mind, he's made the commitment, it's done. But two, I kind of feel like this is a power play because he knows Penelope has to stay in this home.
But he's literally saying, by suggesting otherwise. He's saying to Portia, you are suggesting that your daughter is not the most eligible. Like, that is the whole town knows that Portia does not see any great future for her. I mean, the dabbling thing, yes, but like, and he's like, I will not accept anything other than you putting her on the pedestal that she deserves to be on, because this woman is a goddess.
Well, and here's a few things. One, he knows Penelope has to stay in this home until they get married, and that's going to be at least 4 weeks.
Wait.
Two.
Wait.
Okay. Go.
You know how she's got the Venus statues at the front entranceway?
Mm-hmm.
I really, really wish, and it would never happen, but this is just a stretch of a thing that I wish would happen. I wish that he takes it to the local carver down the street and says, hey, can you redo Venus's face as Penelope's, and puts it back and waits for Portia to notice.
Oh, that's
my goddess.
Like, where are these? I don't know. I thought you sold them. And then they just show back up.
But Penelope.
But one, he knew Penelope was going to have to stay there until they got married. So he wanted to say something strong and powerful enough that would put Portia in her place, so he knew Penelope would be safe. Two, I think that he needed Portia to understand, if you breathe a word of this, because remember, just a few weeks prior, or no, the night before, just the day before, Portia's telling the entire ton, before a proposal actually occurred, that Penelope was going to get proposed to by Debling, which is a faux pas. You do not do it. So
and
he
it's
was
going to
worried
look
that
really
Portia,
bad for her that, oh, my daughter's going to be engaged to a We don't know what he actually is. Let's just go with a Marquis.
Titled man,
A
whatever,
titled
with a
man.
lot of
And
dough.
24 hours later, she's engaged to a third son.
Yes, and Portia is not afraid of talking about her daughter because why in the world would Lady Keswick, who is one of between Cowper, Keswick, and Portia, those are the three gossipy mean girls of the mamas.
Mm-hmm.
And Keswick is the one who says, who has such little hope for success. She got that line from Portia.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
he is worried that Portia's going to run her mouth because his goal from the moment he did compromise Penelope was to make sure no one found out and she could be married in the church and she could have a big, huge, everybody, all eyes on her wedding because he wanted his woman to be seen. And for her to get that, because he already watched Daphne have a really tiny wedding. He already watched Antony. He was not doing that to Penelope. Penelope was going to have the biggest wedding ever.
And it's crazy to me that he now takes Penelope's hand and leads her out of the room to go make an heir. Like,
I love he just holds out his hand and she
Portia
puts
just
her
allowed
hand
him
in
to
his.
take her daughter's hand and walk her out to God knows where.
And not only that, he did the same thing he did on the dance floor. Because remember on the dance floor, like he's like, may I cut in, or I need to interrupt, I need just a minute. But he won't look at Debbling at all. He's totally cutting him off. And he's looking at Penn and he's being as I mean, he is interrupting a dance, but he's being as gentlemanly as he can in the moment and just looking at Penn. And even when, because he needs to bow, he needs to make a bow to Portia. He does the head nod to Penelope.
I know. I love the behind the scenes of these images with Jack Murphy like guiding them, and like he lit like the way that him and Sam kind of jest each other in those moments, like, she's mine, back off. Like, and you can tell even though they're only kind of partial acting at these scenes, like they're really like jesting at each other.
Yeah.
Like, get out, you scoundrel.
I like when he walks them off like they're gonna dance away from Penn, like they're going off together.
Yeah.
But I just like when he holds out his hand and she puts it in there and he does that nod, like, you know, it's meant to be respectful to Portia, but he can't even look her in the eye because he has no respect for her anymore.
Penelope is all I have respect for.
In that moment, like I almost got that, you know, good girl. Like he gave her a good girl, like, yes, put your hand in mine. I'm taking you out of here. We're going right now. And Penn just follows him out. Like, she doesn't realize that that's kind of like, where are they going to go? They're not chaperoned. Like, where's he taking me? Like, she's just like, I will anywhere you go. I want to be anywhere. Where Colin Bridgerton is. Like, that's, she doesn't care. She's like, I'm just gonna be with you. I wanna be with you.
And then as soon as they leave the room, Varley gives Portia the most maternal, I'm disappointed in you look that I've ever seen a servant give to her mistress ever.
But while Portia's not looking, she as they're walking out, she's super giddy and she's smiling. And she turns over to Portia and she like kind of the same look Colin gave the carriage in season 1 when he's like, you're really having Penn come out this year. How dare you? Yeah. But then when Portia turns to look at her, Portia looks, oh my God, what just happened? I spent so like, I really felt in that moment, that's what made me believe this. Like she worked so hard to keep them apart and it didn't work. Yeah. And Varley's like, oop, gotta fix my face. Gotta fix my face. She pays my paycheck. I'll let my face get away from me there. Wait.
Oh, better not let the wind catch this one.
Portia's looking. Face, calm down.
All right. I love it's going to be a 1-hour episode and we're at an hour 47. Well done us. It was too good of episode to half-ass it. And that's what I said. I haven't done my notes, but at least because it is just a short episode, I could just kind of watch it through with, I could refer to it watching it on the screen with,
and I just see if there's any gold. Gold.
Gold. So our next episode is going to be,
we need wine.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the sluttiest of them all?
You know what I just thought? Because we're not doing it till next weekend. I will be talking about the mirror scene after being in the same room as Luke Newton.
So they said no recording, but like, are you allowed to take photos?
Not during the show.
Not during the show.
And he had to post something on Instagram, and I saw a TikTok. I saw a TikTok where a girl was talking about like the etiquette. And it was not Bridgerton fans. I mean, it could have been, but she didn't think so, because one was like a 60-something-year-old lady who was taking the pictures, and people were actively answering their phones and talking on the phone during the performance. I hope to Jesus that doesn't happen to me, because I would
Justice
stand up
Hackles would be up.
front row and turn around and be like, these people worked really hard. Shut
no one puts Colin Bridgerton in the corner.
I've had those dreams. Like, I have been in shows like that and smaller regional things, nothing like NYC, but I've literally been like, what are you doing? These people rehearsed for weeks. Like, that's
I've
so
literally,
rude.
even at the movies, I've had a woman who talked through the entire thing. And like, it wasn't even about the movie at times. It was just like random jabbering. And she would have been like, I don't know, 65 odd. And I was like, can you, like, it got to the point where like I'd shushed her so many times. I was like, shh, shh, shh. And then it got to the point where I was like, can you shut your mouth? Like, I was done.
Well,
Done.
back when they redid, like, improved 3D technology, and they started doing 3D movies all the time, like one of the first ones that you wore those glasses at the theater, like the big plastic ones or whatever, not the generic little paper ones, was Kung Fu Panda, like the first Kung Fu Panda. And we went to see it in 3D, me, my sister, and Samantha. One of my favoriteest pictures ever. Samantha actually just sent it to me last weekend.
Cute.
But I couldn't yell at them because they were kids, and their mother was not chastising them at all.
Different. But that's why I specifically stated she was well and truly old enough to know better.
But we were very sensory overloaded by these kids, because they talked the entire first half of the movie, because they had not been prepared by their mother about what 3D meant. They had to keep the glasses on. Like, there was a whole period of time where they tried to take the glasses off because they didn't like them. They didn't have them on. And the one girl's going, my eye!
One moment. I think Lily just fell down the stairs. Give me a minute. I heard a bang.
Animals in new home. Lily, I hope you're... I don't know, but that thing in that room's knocked over now.
No, she's in her bed. I don't know. There was like a dunk, the sound of a dog falling, because I heard the collar jangle, and I'm like, we've only got 3 stairs. It's like
maybe that's the ghost of another dog that fell down the stairs.
It's a 1-story house, but it has 3 stairs going down to the second level, and she can't do them anymore because she's her arthritis.
Like a living room? Do you have a sunken living? Is it
no? So all the bedrooms.
Because you guys are built into a hill or something.
Yes, we are. So the garage, 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms are on 1 level, and then you go down 3 stairs, and then you've got 2 bedrooms. And then the last bedroom, dining, kitchen, lounge and entryway are on the bottom level. So she can't get down the stairs. She can get up them tentatively, but she can't get back down them. And the one time that she tried, she got her paws down one and then went plop, 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 plop to the bottom and baby. Rolled. So that's why I was like, oh no, my dog.
But yeah, there's been some poor etiquette at the show. So I hope there's none when I'm there. So if you're going, I have
my fingers crossed for the best time ever.
Yeah, I'm saying this, and it's going to be, we will have already.
You're going with Anne, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, lovely.
Yes. Oh, and should we wait and see if Kay is okay with us saying anything?
No. She announced that it's fine.
Congratulations, Kay!
Congratulations.
Kay has a love story. She is now betrothed.
Yes, our lovely KK Chips went and celebrated her 1-year anniversary this weekend, in which she got engaged. I had been offline for basically 2 weeks now. I've really seen the bare minimum of the internet, and I finally opened up the internet after unpacking all my boxes all day.
She had just posted that picture too,
and I'm exhausted, and I hadn't even read Tangent Queens, and the first thing that pops up on my Facebook is an engagement ring. And when I tell you, my fat little fingers ran to Tangent Queens to be like, what is happening? What have I missed? I was so excited.
And it was the best because, I mean, you've been, I don't want to say like totally absent. You have checked in, but she's been busy because it was their 1-year anniversary, and there was a lot of prep that went into it, because both of them were taking it so very seriously that it was 1 year, which was so sweet and cute. And the last thing I heard was they were on Miller's Ferry going to Put-in-Bay, and I was jelly because even though I've lived in Ohio most of my life, I've never gone. And Then nothing and nothing and nothing and nothing and nothing. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I better be hearing some news about this anniversary weekend because you talked it up so much. And then bam, she just shows that and she's like, well, I guess it was good because I said yes. And I was like, oh my God.
It was amazing.
So in the period of our lives, we officially have a betrothal. We have a betrothal.
Yeah,
I get to put a betrothal in the Ladies Bridgerton Society papers.
That's gonna be really cute. In other Bridgerton news, who are our sponsors for today's episode, Patty?
Well, Susan is still the Podsnacks sponsor. She and Maria are the only two that have donated to Podsnacks.
Thank you so much for
coffee.
Thank you so much for my Costco snacky snacks because they were delicious.
Yeah, thanks for my hint of lime tortilla chips. I greatly appreciate it. And then we also, and there's so much going on right now with YouTube and the pod and us growing, our Facebook page growing. So, you know, the fact that you guys are supporting us, wanting us to continue, wanting us to be able to do this, literally the part of my week. I did not give it up for the dashing of the door. I cut myself off at 3 p.m. on Sunday to prepare. But
she dashed faster than Colin Bridgerton up those stairs.
Yeah. And our Patreonesses, Anne, Julia, and Sarah.
I was going to say Lady Sarah.
Lady Sarah, our 3 Patronesses, who she is writing our fanfic suggestion, by the way.
That's amazing. I haven't seen that. I am so excited.
She's thinking on it. It's a bubbling.
I don't typically read those, but if she is okay with them, maybe we can read some like excerpts of them on here if we've got time.
Yeah, because it'll be letters. It'll be letters, Sir Philip letters, and to Colin, and like you can be Sir Philip and I'll be Colin, or vice versa, or whatever, and that would be so fun.
That would be amazing. For today, gentle listeners, we will leave it there and continue on next week's episode. I love that you guys don't even know how long it's been between for us. Like you've just week after week, you've got your episodes, but it's so long between for us that I'm like, I don't want it to end because I've missed this so much.
Yeah, but I'm rushing back from NYC next weekend to be able to podcast because we did not get a chance to record 2 today.
No, my little sunny son was not having a bar of that. If you have anything in particular you would like us to cover or any Bridgerton knowledge you would like to share, please head to our Facebook page, The Ladies Bridgerton. And if you're enjoying our podcast, please remember to click follow, subscribe, like, leave comments wherever you are listening.
And once again, thank you for listening to the musings of 2 madcap brain fried, Southern fried brain, Kentucky fried brains.
I'm a Kentucky Fried body. Every inch of me aches after a week straight of moving.
If this was literally 1815, we would be prescribed cocaine and masturbation.
I was going to say I could go for those kind of. I mean, I've never done a drug in my life, but I'll take the second one. Thanks.
So yeah, thank you for listening to us.
Yours truly, Tash the Kiwi.
And Lady Patty.